The Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority has confirmed the mid-flight incident suffered by the United Airlines flight UA613 on Thursday, January 23rd, when it left the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Lagos to Washington, U.S., but was forced to declare emergency and made air return after about 2 hours of flight out of the departure airport. The Boeing 787-8 aircraft was carrying 245 passengers, 8 flight attendants, and 3 pilots at the time of the incident, which occurred over Ivory Coast airspace, as reports indicated that several passengers and crew members sustained minor injuries. Director of Public Affairs and Consumer Protection (NCAA), Mr. Michael Achimugu, said that the regulatory authority is investigating the cause of the incident and examining the aircraft flight data recorder (FDR) to ascertain exactly what happened, noting that the authority is not going to rely on the feedback from the airline or the passenger, but facts from the investigation, and promised NCAA would issue a statement after the investigation. Achimugu also said that he led the team to the hotels to visit the passengers who were in the flight, and also visited the hospital to see those who received treatment because of what they suffered during the incident in order to give them support. United Airlines aeroplane Boeing 787-800 departed the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, MMIA, Lagos at 11:59 on Thursday, January 23, 2025. Hours later, the aircraft made an air return and landed safely at 3:22 this morning. On board were 245 adults and 11 crew members. The team of Aerodrome Rescue and Firefighting Services, Aviation Medical, and Aviation Security were already at the gate when the aeroplane parked for the boarding at D31 without incident, and the door was opened at 3:37 a.m. All passengers and crew disembarked safely. 4 passengers and 2 crew members sustained serious injuries, and an additional 27 passengers and 5 crew members had minor injuries. The rescue team responded swiftly and effectively, having been on alert and standby just 4 minutes after the pilot reported his distress at 1:20 a.m. Aviation medical ambulances transported the injured passengers, some to the MMA clinic and others to the headquarters clinic. Those with minor injuries received first aid and were discharged immediately, while those with serious injuries were stabilized and transferred to the Duchess Hospital in Ikeja. Some passengers were also taken to the hotel for accommodation. The aircraft itself did not sustain any major damage. Meanwhile, an unnamed passenger in the flight recounted her ordeal in the flight while they're on board. She says, quote, "We had already been served our meals when the plane lost pressure and dropped. We noticed a sharp descent. I hit my head on the ceiling because of the impact. I became unconscious, but one person from the medical team came to attend to me in the middle of the turmoil. The sharp descent happened 3 times, causing some people to sustain injuries. We spent 4 hours in the air. In the midst of the turmoil, the pilot said we're going to land in Ghana, but we eventually landed in Nigeria." The airline, which confirmed the incident, stated flight UA613 from Lagos to Washington, D.C. returned to Lagos to address a technical issue. After landing safely, the aircraft was met by first responders to address reports of minor injuries to several passengers and crew. Meanwhile, a string of devastating aviation disasters in December 2024 left hundreds dead and shaking public confidence in air travel safety. From mechanic failures to challenging weather conditions and external interference, several tragic incidents have sparked widespread concern and intensified scrutiny of the aviation industry's safety protocols. The most notable is the Jeju plane crash that killed more than 170. This plane crash happened December 28, when Jeju Air passenger aircraft crashed while attempting to land at Muan Airport, South Korea, on its return from Bangkok. The plane reportedly lost control due to a failure in its front landing gear, skidding off the runway and slamming into a concrete barrier. Another flight was Azerbaijan Airlines that crashed Christmas Day. The Embraer ERJ-190AR aircraft operated by Azerbaijan Airlines crashed near Aktau Airport in Kazakhstan, killing 38 out of 67 passengers. The flight, which had originated from Baku and was en route to the Grozny, had declared an emergency due to technical difficulties and poor weather. After several unsuccessful landing attempts, the aircraft went down near Aktau. Initial reports suggest the aircraft experienced issues with altitude and speed, potentially caused by mechanical failure or external factors such as military operations. Earlier in the month of December, specifically December 22nd, a private plane crashed in Gramado, Brazil, killing 10 members of the Galeazzi family including prominent businessman Luis Claudio Galeazzi. The small aircraft collided with a chimney, a house, and a shop as it descended. The crash injured 17 people on the ground, and 2 of whom are in serious condition. On December 17, a Cessna 208B Grand Caravan operated by Kamaka Air LLC crashed near Daniel Inouye International Airport in Honolulu, Hawaii. The plane, which was on a training flight, lost control shortly after takeoff, executing a sharp left bank before crashing into a building. Both pilots perished in the accident. An investigation is underway to determine the cause of the crash. Others that happened in December are Argentina Challenger crash, the small aircraft crash in Scotland, and the non-fatal airplane crashes. On December 28th, Air Canada Express Flight 2259 suffered a landing gear failure upon arrival at Halifax Stanfield International Airport. The aircraft skidded down the runway, its wing catching fire. All 73 passengers and crew were evacuated safely, avoiding injury or fatalities. That same night, the KLM Boeing 737-800 made an emergency landing Sandefjord Top Airport in Norway after a hydraulic failure. The aircraft skidded off the runway into a grassy area, but all 150 passengers and crew escaped unscathed.